Hey everybody, Peter Marquette 1223 down in my basement to do a long-awaited and much needed update on the Buck Creek Central. As some of you might have seen, the Buck Creek Central returned a few weeks ago. I have been planning this for a few months now. I sold all of my old engines, rolling stock, everything like that, and I've started out completely fresh in terms of power. I'm slowly starting to reacquire new and way better rolling stock. I'm starting to be way patient with myself when it comes to acquiring rolling stock, and it's just you just got to take your time with things. So, but I'm going to detail over what has changed in upcoming projects for the layout. I'm going to start down here in the end though. This stretch of track from right about where the hopper sits all the way down to here has been reballasted finally after I did the track work almost 2 years ago. I had a buddy of mine come down here. He took and ground some of the uneven railheads down and helped me smooth some things out so I could start doing this again. I also took and installed a freight house in the empty lot that used to be here. It's not empty anymore, obviously. I took and installed a freight house here because what this second track over here is supposed to represent, if anybody remembers, is it's supposed to represent a former double track main, and now the double track has just become a siding and it's abandoned everywhere else. So the freight house, however, is still in operations, but it receives shipments very selectively, and thus it is one of the few industries on this track. It got installed and ballasted and had entryways put in on the other side. They need to take and have a second dousing of glue onto them to make the glue. The glue didn't soaked only down to the very bottom layers of the gravel and stuff. But there's actually a pair of loading docks back here, and when they're done, the Nickel Plate and Nabisco trucks or the Railway Express Agency trucks are going to be parked up to those loading bays, and they will stay there to look like there's a shipment. The Bridge Street Tower is finally getting work done on it to bring it closer to finally being installed. Its place is going to be right in here, and then basically the layout from this line, from the line and the door here down, except for the very back lot, will be done on this side. All right. And I'm starting to get the small stuff. All the cars are clustered here in Stuckies because they just were moved out of the way. Some more grass was installed over behind Stuckies to take, and it just needed to be done. It was much needed to be done. It covered up a lot of stuff that got on the green paint. It makes it look way nicer. This actually had a ton of gray, or this white creamy paint to make the concrete in the back by those trees. There will be a shrub line back there eventually. It's slowly coming along. I have to take and actually get something else now to take and put on the display track, and I'm debating about whether to put something I recently purchased until it's converted to DCC, and I will also show you what that is. Not much has happened on the outside. Knocked a tree over and I broke it. This tree I just kept knocking over. I got sick of it, so I'm just like, screw it, I'll leave it down. And then there's several trees I've just taken and re-glued back because I just constantly knock them over and can't seem to keep them up. Not sure about my plans for this little lot here going up to the side of the street. Unsure whether to put more railroad buildings or just to find something small to put in there. Not 100% on what I'm going to do with that. The hopper, however, is new. It is a Bowser Models. I took and won it as a door prize from the West Michigan Model Railroad Club train show that happened here on the 7th of December. And I finally put it together at the end of the month, and it looks pretty good. I gotta take and actually open it back up though and put some more weight into it because it is having derailment issues, and eventually plan on maybe converting the wheels to metal. The couplers are plastic for the time being, I have no problem using plastic couplers if they're even, because I won't be pulling mile-long trains in this layout that will require metal couplers. But the hopper has been derailing on, I'll show you a couple of areas, but one area where it has been derailing is right here in the track joint, and that is because this track joint is actually out of gauge. It was not out of gauge before the gravel was installed. As you can see, is my track gauge here. The top part here is for the flange ways, which is where the wheel flanges go. You can see before here it fits here and it fits here, but when you try to put it in here, it doesn't fit. I don't know if you can see that very well. If I take and go from the outside though and wedge it in there, I can take and leave it in there. So that tells you that it's very, very close. It will probably just need to have the rail heads ground just a little bit. Not very, very much. Another thing I meant to show in one of an update that never happened back in 2013, believe it or not, was the lights on the layout. Plug it in. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's 7, 8 lights on the layout. And if I take and shut it off and hit this, you can see all of them. Now, I'm sure you've seen them before in videos when I've done night shots, but the reason why I never did an update was because I had yet to install the last light right here. And the reason is because the wire kept breaking. So it is installed now finally, and the lights are done. And if I ever want to take and add more lighted fixtures to the layout, it's very easy to do so, because underneath I have a small power pack mounted, hooked up to just a light switch that is also hooked up to my power source down here. Yeah, it's not very pretty. Which in turn controls all the lights. You just flip the switch and then on and off. On this half of the layout, as you can see, very little work has yet to be done. I'm planning on this area kind of being a small downtown area. I've already started collecting buildings for this, and here's one of the buildings that's going to go in there. The reason why I picked it up is because it had the Santa Fe all the way in there, worldwide travel, and it looked like a really nice storefront. It'd probably end up going something right around here. I'm not sure exactly how I'm going to tie it in, if whether I'm going to put it right up against the road or if I'm going to take and kind of back it off and maybe put some dirt shoulders in. Has yet to be discussed. Currently only focusing on one half of the layout. Gonna take and crawl in and under so we can get on the inside here and talk more in depth about some other areas. Okay, so we're in the middle. This gives you a better perspective of everything. Here's a better idea of looking from the freight house from the rear. What else is there really to discuss about this half? I guess I could talk about some of the rolling stock I have here. I'm sure a lot of you have already seen the Broadway Limited Imports Union Pacific NW2 switcher that I purchased. It's probably the best engine I've ever owned by far. The realism and just the performance of this engine has been by far outmatched anything that I've owned yet. Pulling power is a little lacking, but I mean, it is a switcher. It's not supposed to move mile-long trains by any means. It can probably move at most 7-8 cars on a very slight grade. However, if you have it on flat track, you could probably pull off 10, depending on how heavy the cars are. Oh wow, these are already getting dusty back here. The only thing about it, I was thinking about doing a review on it, but I'm waiting for one important detail, and that is the engine actually did not get delivered with a horn on the cab. If you can see the holes and underneath the cab roof, right about there, you can see the hole. It was not delivered with a horn on the cab, and I am currently awaiting the arrival of one under warranty from Broadway Limited Imports. Their service was fantastic. I got a reply within hours. You have to actually email them. You don't call them. You can, but I tried calling their number, but it wouldn't work. So I don't know if they ditched the calling system or what. But I got an email, and within hours, I got a reply back, and the matter was resolved probably within the day. I mean, really within a matter of 6 hours, the matter was already resolved, and a horn was on its way. They usually take about 8 to 10 business days, which I think is a little bit long, but hopefully it's going to be here quicker than later. The second car is by far my favorite so far. It is a Intermountain Gulf Oil Corporation tank car. Has some very nice graphics, plastic couplers, which is factory, metal wheels, which Intermountain we know makes great metal wheels. But I just love the paint scheme. Tank cars are very, very neat. I particularly like this style of tank car with the railings on top. I also like the tank cars that have just the domes on top too. I'm kind of matching the era of this switcher, considering the fact that the switcher prototype was built in 1948 and retired and sold for scrap in 1981. So there's a pretty broad range to choose from here in terms of what this switcher pulled in its life. The second car I kind of still laugh at because I never thought I would ever own this road on a piece of rolling stock, is a Penn Central 40-foot boxcar. The car was built in 1950 according to the model. However, it was repainted in the late 60s. It is an Athearn. It's got plastic couplers on it and plastic wheels. However, it is a very nicely done Athearn, in very good shape. All my cars have the boxes for them, which is good. And still laughing about the fact it's Penn Central, but I like it. And I'm just kind of slowly making my way into a little bit more modern era. But don't think there's not going to be steam, because believe me, there will be. Don't know when, but it's coming. Next car I picked, which I think is pretty neat, is it's another Athearn car. This is an Illinois Central Ice Reefer. Is made, I believe it's an Athearn. I don't have the boxes down here to 100% say sure. I mean, I know I have them down here. I'm not going to look though. I believe it's an Athearn. It has separately opening hatches. All 4 of the hatches are intact. However, only one has the latch still, so I'm not going to be, that doesn't be picky over that. If it was missing the hatches, then yes, I wouldn't have gone after it. But it's in good shape. Has some nice, good colors to it. Something different. I'm trying to aim for stuff that's more different. Let me take a look down here and see if I can find my boxes. Oh yeah, down here I got a, yeah, it's an Athearn. It came in this white box though because it didn't have a box, so somebody bought a box for it when I bought it. My primary purpose though, actually, when I bought all this stuff was to find a caboose, and eventually I did, and I settled on this Northern Pacific Extended Vision caboose, also made by Intermountain. It's very, very sharp. I was not exactly sure what kind of caboose I would be settling with. However, I am happy with my choice. It is in green with their logo underneath the cupola and has these orange ends, which I think are pretty sharp, and they actually do have quite a bit of contrast. You know, nice stack, good, crisp, clean paint, good decals. You know, what more could you get from Intermountain? This is my start for rolling stock. It's going to be a while before I get any more. My dad says if I get good grades this semester in college here, he'll actually take and help by contributing $300 towards the purchase of anything HO related. So I'm still debating on what to use that for. I'm thinking about maybe just splurging myself and getting a real expensive engine of some kind. Not exactly sure, but I know I'll definitely take on the opportunity of getting something very neat to add. Whether it'll be something I can run on this layout or will have to take to me to the railroad club is to be determined. However, if I could get something that could run on both, maybe I'm definitely talking. Back here in the corner, this corner is probably the least prettiest area of this layout. There's some dead stuff laying back here. This is where the schoolhouse used to sit. I plucked the schoolhouse off. It was kind of a grungy looking building the more and more I looked at it, and did not look very scale. So I plucked it off, and I'm going to end up removing all of this stone that I for whatever reason, decided to place down on the ground. And, well, pluck it up, either relay it with grass or something other like that. The plan for this area I have come up with is to make a small junkyard out of this area. Put a small building maybe around here, and then pile the back corner with junk cars. The only problem is going to be keeping this area clean, as I have already seen cobwebs back here. Spiders are a bunch of little bastards. Over here, I'm still not 100% sure what I am going to do. It's, as it sits right now, it's kind of just grasslands. Maybe I could put some hay bales there. I don't know. Just a thought. Probably make the trees a little bit thicker. We're talking about putting a little camp scene over in that corner, so that'll be neat to see. In here, the houses just need to get their lawns kind of finished, as funny as it sounds. The lawns are pretty incomplete, but when all's said and done, this little area will basically be taken care of. The road does need to be touched back up. I did nick the paint off of there, unfortunately, and that'll have to be painted back over, and hopefully will blend in. If not, we'll just look like patched road. What happened here, I was actually taking and vacuuming off the layout one day, and I hooked onto the road and actually pulled it up and snapped it off. Now, initially I was not very happy about this, but I decided to turn this into a construction zone. So eventually we're going to bring in some equipment and stuff like that and place it over here, and we're going to turn this into a construction zone, because there's no way that you can have roads like these and not have a construction zone looking somewhere. So the church is also coming out. The church I'm not very happy with. Call me a sinner or not, but I constantly break the cross off the top and keep gluing it back on. So one, I don't want to keep doing that, and two, the parking lot I created for it does not look very good. Just take and wet it down, scrape it up, and start from scratch over here. Don't know what I'm going to put in here. Heck, don't even know what I'm going to do for the door even, because the problem I noticed with putting water on the door is the fact that I have nothing actually to put the water in, unless I'm going to paint it blue, which I think would look kind of tacky. But for my budget, I'll do just about anything. Any suggestions are always welcome too, by the way. The little road here that's supposed to lead to the coal tipple, of course, took a hit when I took and vacuumed it. All the ballast, or all the gravel that did not sit onto the wood pulled up. So my dad thinks that we can save this. He's kind of helping me out here. He's got a better hand and better patience at this stuff kind of than I do. But he's going to take and help me out with this. And hopefully we can save this, because I think it's definitely manageable. But it's just a slow process, as most of you modelers out there know. But hopefully we can see more videos coming from the Buck Creek Central, as well as updates as well. I will definitely keep everybody posted on how things go. I'm very excited to start this back up. I can't wait to see it done. Hopefully I can have it done and finally just run trains on it and do videos of it, and then maybe one day I can get bored enough of it, tear it down, and start from scratch again. As most people will do. So yeah, this is just about what I have for you today. I don't know if anybody read the description when I took and initially started this layout back up. I actually had to take and remove about a half hour. For a half hour, I basically just went around this layout and removed cobwebs, and in fact I'm still trying to get rid of more. The basement, unfortunately, is, as most people know, a great home for spiders and cobwebs, but my layout is not a great home for spiders and cobwebs. So that poses a problem when it comes time to keep them off. And unfortunately, the layout will fall victim to that from time to time. But as it sits right now, I've done a pretty good job at getting most of the stuff away from the layout and off of it and from above it. But as I said, the layout is obviously still a work in progress and has much to go, but for now, this little area is looking pretty well complete, except for the little hole here And what I could put on the display track, I'll probably just get something with that looks halfway decent to put there. I don't need to have anything operational sit on this track by any means. That's just a total waste. But as most of you remember, this track was designed around Canadian National number 6018, the 260 Mogul I had that was made by Bachmann. But it still has plenty of length for something to be put there. I wish my dad wouldn't have put so many bushes around it, but ballasted the hell out of it. But no matter, it's not powered, nothing like that. Maybe I could run the headlight to it, just run the headlight. That would be pretty neat. Maybe make the headlight and the number boards functional. But like I said, for now, this is all I have for you of the Buck Creek Central, and I hope to share more updates with you as the layout gets closer to completion once again, and as the collection once again starts to grow and the Buck Creek Central will rise again. This is all I have for you today of the first update of 2015 of the Buck Creek Central, and hope to see you guys again next time with another video. 1223 out.